Stop paying the perfection tax. Seriously. If your life was a server, trying to be perfect is like running a background program that eats up 95% of your CPU. It makes everything else lag. Your relationships, your creativity, even your sleep. Most of us spend our lives cherry-picking our data. We select the high achiever files, the good parent folders, and the put-together friend documents. But we leave the failed projects, the anxiety, and the messy kitchen files unselected, hidden in the background, taking up space but never being acknowledged. If you're exhausted from trying to present a curated version of yourself to the world, today's episode is your system upgrade. We're talking about the Ctrl-A protocol. It's time to select all, the good, the bad, and the glitchy, to finally find true peace. Hey, welcome to Shift. I'm Elliot Reed, and this is where we hit life's shortcut keys together. I'm a former tech writer turned consultant and a dad to two girls, Clara and Lucy. If there is anything that breaks a perfectionist's heart, it's a toddler with a bowl of spaghetti near a white rug. Today's shortcut is Ctrl-A. On your computer, what does this actually do? It's the Select All command. It doesn't judge. It doesn't say, I'll select the well-written essay, but I'm going to ignore that blurry photo. No, it highlights everything, every character, every pixel, every mistake. It is an all-or-nothing move. In life, we rarely hit Select All. We live in a state of constant editing. We treat our lives like a social media feed where we only select the highlights. We think perfectionism is a badge of honor. We say, I'm just a bit of a perfectionist, like it's a superpower. But really? Perfectionism is just a fancy word for fear. It's the fear that if people saw the unselected files, the parts of us that are messy or uncertain, they wouldn't want the rest. But here's the shift. Radical self-acceptance is the Ctrl-A of the soul. It's the moment you stop trying to highlight only the best parts and you say, select all. You select the good professional wins and the days you stayed in your pajamas until 4 p.m. When you stop hiding, you stop wasting energy. Let's talk about the shadow folder. In computer terms, if you don't select a file, you can't move it or edit it. It just sits there, stagnant. In our lives, the parts we refuse to select, our flaws or mistakes, don't disappear. They go into a shadow folder that haunts our subconscious. I remember trying to host this perfect backyard barbecue. I wanted the lighting to be just right, the food to be gourmet, and my kids to look like they stepped out of a catalog. I was so busy trying to deselect the stressed-out dad version of myself that I wasn't actually at the party. When the grill flared up and charred the chicken, I didn't just laugh it off. I felt like a total failure. Why? Because I hadn't hit Ctrl-A. I hadn't accepted that life is messy. By trying to select only the perfect host file, I accidentally moved the having fun file into the trash. Perfectionism is an editing tool that cuts out the heart of the experience. There's a concept in psychology called satisficing, a mix of satisfy and suffice. Researchers found that there are two types of people, maximizers and satisficers. Maximizers, the perfectionists, want the absolute best choice. They'll look at 50 vacuum cleaners before buying one and then worry they picked the wrong one. Satisficers have a set of criteria. Once a choice meets those criteria, once it's good enough, they take it and move on. The data is clear. Satisficers are consistently happier. Why? Because they hit Ctrl-A on their decisions. They accept that perfect is an illusion. In my consulting work, I used to spend hours tweaking font sizes on reports. That's the perfection tax. I was chasing a 1% improvement at the cost of sleep and time with my girls. When I shifted to good enough, I realized 80% of the value comes from the first 20% of the effort. Authentic success is a package deal. Think about the people you love. Do you love them because they have zero flaws? No. You love the friend who is brilliant but always loses her keys. You love the partner who is supportive but hums off key. In Japan, there's an art form called kintsugi. When pottery breaks, they repair the cracks with gold lacquer. They select all. They make the break part of the object's history. It becomes more valuable because it was broken. Our cracks, the career pivots that failed, the times we struggled, are our gold lacquer. When I started this podcast, I wanted it to be studio perfect, but then I realized I'm a guy recording in a room where you can occasionally hear a toddler yelling for juice. Once I hit Ctrl A and accepted the mess, it became easier to create. The mess became the message. How do we apply Ctrl A today? Here are 4 practical steps. 1. Define done before you start. Whether it's an email or cleaning the kitchen, decide what good enough looks like first. When you hit that mark, stop. Don't let the maximizer hijack your time. 2. The 5-year rule. When you're spiraling because something isn't perfect, ask, will this matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, hit Ctrl A and move on. 3. Audit your shoulds. Every time you say, I should be, you are deselecting your reality. Replace it with, I am currently. Select the reality, not the fantasy. 4. Practice visible imperfection. Purposely leave something imperfect. Leave the dishes for a night. Send an email with a minor typo. Experience the fact that the world doesn't end when you aren't curated. Here's your challenge this week. Find one unfiltered moment. Sometime this week, you'll feel the urge to edit yourself, to hide a mess or apologize for a flaw that doesn't need an apology. In that moment, mentally hit Ctrl A. If a friend drops by and the house is a wreck, don't apologize. Just say, hey, come on in, we're living life today. Select the whole version of the moment. See how much battery life you save when you stop trying to be a maximum version of yourself. Thanks for hanging out with me on Shift. The all version of you is so much more interesting than the perfect version anyway. If this clicked for you, subscribe and share it with a friend who is working too hard to be perfect. Next time, we're diving into Ctrl F, all about finding the balance between work and rest. Until then, keep it light, keep it real, and remember, sometimes all you need is a little shift.